Thank you for joining me for another quick hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn. With me today, I have Jaclyn Zoccoli, Frank Galindo, and Chris Jerjian. Today, I would like to talk about the saying, warriors spend more time resting and training than fighting. Chris, kick us off. What do you think?
It was a really interesting statement. And first thing I did was go and Google because I wasn't sure where to start. What kind of warriors are we talking about? And what came up on my research was the Spartans. And I knew that the Spartans were warriors. I didn't realize how much. Their philosophy was take them at birth and develop them into warriors. And if they weren't strong enough, they would get rid of them. You can relate to it in sports, you can relate to it in business in different ways. And I do think a lot of time goes into preparation, which is what the training is that the statement refers to. So I kind of agree with the statement that warriors should train and rest more than they actually go into the arena. But it's the same in business. You have to do all your due diligence, you have to do all your research, and develop your plan and strategy. And then the execution is a lot easier and doesn't consume as much time typically as does the planning.
I was telling Robyn before when we were just chatting, and it threw me for a loop at first. When I read it, I took it at face value, and same thing, Chris, I did a little bit of research, came up with the same things you did. But then I stopped for a moment and took a step back and thought about the words, and I ended up just in my head equating it more to, like you say, it could be business, it could be any topic, but at the end of the day, it's about being prepared. You do all of your preparation, mental relaxation so that you don't burn yourself out, and you prepare yourself for that moment where you need that knowledge, where you need that training, where you need that preparedness to be the best at whatever it is that you do. You know, you want to be prepared for the fight, even though you don't fight, because you don't want to fight. But if God forbid you have to fight, and I'm using that as an analogy, not literally, you want to be prepared to do so. So that's what it meant to me. And again, it can even school. I mentioned I was doing my MBA during last year during the pandemic, and it's just about the preparation for the writing, for the essay, for the speech, for the test, presentation, what have you. You want to be over prepared for everything, just in case. And that also shows when you go to execute that you are the best, and people want to do their best. So that's what I took away from it. That's how I translated that.
Well, pretty much all of what you said makes sense to me. I didn't do any research. I just kind of winged it and figured out where it was in my world. And there were 3 points that were important to me. I can't remember who said it in a book that I read, to sharpen the saw. And to sharpen the saw is what we all do in business, is to be able to continually do professional development, to never let anything be assumed, to always try something new and different, to be able to have the best perfect moment. So you prepare yourself so that you don't have to worry about it when it comes time, because you're giving it your very best. So it's what Frank said, but in my own words. The second part is that luck is opportunity and preparation. So that's exactly what that equation is saying, is to prepare yourself for the opportunity so that you will be able to get the most out of it. And the third point that I like to make is that if you spend way too much time in the preparation and the rest, what happens is that you are in the mode of perfection. You have analysis paralysis. And instead of moving in any direction at all, you find yourself doing the same things all over again, and you go nowhere. So those are just kind of 3 looks that might be a little different than the rest of you said.
So it's interesting to me because you guys talked about the preparation and getting ready and making sure that you're spending that kind of time. And the way that I look at this is, don't spend all your time fighting. I think so much of the hustle culture is that we all spend so much time trying to get things done and do this and do that. And it has to, and we forget that, wait a minute, preparation and rest are also important. And so trying to give ourselves permission to engage in that is important. And so then that makes me ask the question, how do you know if you have the right balance?
Very good question. I think only you know, and people very close to you might know. But having said that, we live in a world where we don't have too many choices, especially if you're in the early stages of your career. You really have to toe the line because it's not really up to you. I mean, it is, but if you want to proceed and progress in a career, it's going to be very tough saying, I'm not doing that because it's 5 o'clock and I have other things to do. I have another life. I'm at the stage in my life where I can make those choices. And from time to time I do. I say, I'm taking time out, and that's it, because I need the time. However, if you're going to succeed in what you're doing, you have to make sure that you cover all your bases and you don't leave something hanging whilst you're away having a good time or resting, that the battle is still going on without you and you were needed. It's a very fine balance. It really is.
Yeah, I agree. There's no cookie cutter answer. It does depend on the individual. It also, I believe, and I've had to do this for myself, it also depends on how much the individual gets to know him or herself. Capabilities, limitations, when you're fatigued, when you have too much going on. And that takes time. It's easier said than done, but it does take some preparation, training, acknowledgement, self-awareness to know when you were at the point where now we need to take a break, we need to stop, we avoid the analysis paralysis that Jackie mentioned before, and be able to move forward and actually do what you need to do, or just step away, take a step back, and let's reevaluate, kind of start fresh. But it takes practice. It's not easy.
Frank, you and I are on the same wavelength. You're making it difficult because the way you're saying it is exactly the way that I would say it. So I have to twist it around in my brain. I don't usually have that problem. I think it is a self-evaluation. I really do. No one else has responsibility for you but you, and you know whether it's successful or not. And I have to bring in another part of it. I sometimes spend my day, wake up in the morning, am I really making the positive difference that I want? Will you please show me? Please show me that I'm doing what it is that is supposed to be happening. And I have a God that I think that's the way I look at it. And 99% of the time during that day, I will see. If it wasn't for me, that wouldn't have happened. That's another miracle today. So I think it's up to you to figure it out. And I have miracles all day long when I pay attention. It's that balance, that it's your balance. No one else can be that critical because it's your balance. You know the part of you that is in sync and that which is off. And if one's off, then you know darn well it's going to compact all the rest of it. So yeah, that's kind of my look at it.
I know for me that I know I have the balance right when I can work and have lots of energy and it flows and I feel prepared and everything's working in sync. And if it doesn't work in sync, I'm able to handle that easily. I know it gets out of balance when I start feeling harried, when I start feeling like I can't make this happen. Wait, I haven't prepared for this. I'm not ready for that. Then I know I need to take a minute and kind of reevaluate. Am I preparing well enough? Am I getting enough rest? Am I spending too much? Because that's where I make a mistake. I will spend too much time doing the work, doing the fighting, and not enough time doing the preparing and doing the resting. And that's where I know I get out of sync.
Yeah. It's interesting because if you really enjoy what you do, you don't feel it's taxing you. And that's where it comes to that self-assessment thing. But I've come to the realization now, I'll be working at 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm still working on my computer and I'm tired. And I'll say to myself, this is the last thing I'm going to do. And I'm switching off for the day. And I'll do it, whilst before I would have probably, I've got to finish this before tomorrow. Now I say, I'll just pick it up tomorrow morning. And if I'm going to miss a sort of a week deadline, I'll just let the party know that I'm running late. I got caught up doing something else. Can I get this to you by noon? I'll handle it like that. But it is self-assessment. It really is. But it's like if you really enjoy exercising, you can't exercise until you drop.
You can, it's not good.
Yeah. So when you're getting to the point where it's saturation, and you've got to just have the sort of self-discipline to say, that's it, time out. And it's good. It's healthy to do that.
Absolutely. Well, that is our 10 minutes, so I'm going to cut us off there. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I really appreciate hearing your thoughts on it, and I look forward to talking to you all again very soon.